Hello and welcome to all the ghouls and vampires out there. I'm Joe here with me, my co-host Dan,
Hello and greetings.
and we have today another Scream for Scream podcast video. Today's video is all about the scene where Jamie goes up the stairs and to her room. Wow, okay, discussion done. We just covered up that scene. Wow, there was a lot to analyze. I'm joking.
Indeed.
We're actually going to analyze stuff. Don't worry. Now, and don't forget to subscribe. We really need to reach 80 subs. We're very desperate for that. So we'll entertain you. Don't worry. We'll waste your time. I mean, entertain you. In all seriousness, Jamie is encouraged to go back to bed because Rachel's thinking 4 o'clock in the... Well, no, I think it's 2 o'clock in the morning, actually. Yeah, that's a little early for a kid. So the kid is put back to bed because she shouldn't be up. So she goes up the stairs, and honestly, has there ever been a movie where a child goes up the stairs, goes to her room, and just pulls out an old shoebox, and it's as creepy as this? I'm sorry, but the music in the background just makes this completely creepy in such a way that's actually a little funny in some ways. And what's more is that when she... Now, the crumpled shoebox is very obviously very old. And she pulls it open to reveal a picture of her mom, Laurie Strode, who passed away a number of years ago. So this is honestly one of Jamie's most prized possessions because it's her mom. And if you look closely enough, it looks like it's a picture of Laurie when she was pregnant with Jamie, which, yeah. The idea is that it would have happened shortly after Halloween 2, which, okay. And Jamie apparently was a bit of a mommy's girl and desperately adored her mother. The only thing is, she's very lost in the world without her family. And the trouble is that this loneliness is kind of what I would argue, the demon that is the shape gets at her with. In a way, this is the hole in her heart that opened the doorway to darkness. And I do think that we should analyze the shape, at least in the context of this movie, if you don't associate it with any of the other later Halloween movies, as a kind of demon that's preying on this family and that is bloodthirsty and whatnot. But that Michael Myers was vulnerable to it, and so was Jamie. So that in a way you can kind of look at Michael as actually being a victim of the shape. But he's been totally corrupted by it and destroyed from the inside out by it. And Jamie is the next one on the chopping block because Michael's body is breaking down. I would argue he should be dead, but the demons kept him alive. And so he's needing to transfer to a new host, which would be Jamie Lloyd. And so the daughter of Laurie Strode is potentially the successor of her brother. That aside, the fact that Jamie has treasured this shoebox and this picture of her mother does kind of get you to feel for the kid, because you kind of understand that she's not some all but full grown young woman who's already certain of her way in life and who's pretty much full grown, and that's the way it is, like with Laurie, but rather this is a vulnerable child who out to be protected from the evils of the world, but the evils have come to corrupt her, which it's sad to say, but in this world, women can be just as corrupted as men if you look at history. And in the case of Jaime in this horror franchise, well, with all of cinematic horror history, there's not many female monster icons of sorts. Although Dracula's Daughter movie, I think it is, that one from the 30s was pretty fascinating, as you had a slow corruption of a female vampire that really was trying to resist her nature but couldn't help but give in eventually, because it's just the way she was at her core. With Jaime, you have a slow corruption as well over the course of Halloween 4. So in some ways, I have to actually say that I really do like these female horror icon movies, because they tend to slowly corrupt the character and show them at the beginning as a bit of a victim, and then show how they kind of morph into the monster. And I find that fascinating.
Like,
it's always well written, I find.
Pamela Voorhees is such an example as well.
Well, yes and no. She was already corrupted.
Yes.
By the end of the movie. So I'm going to argue that's not what I mean, but yeah, it is. Like, what I mean is, like, you typically see them get corrupted, but in her case, you don't. But on the other hand, you get the flashbacks and you get to see why she became the way she was. And if you consider the fan films we reviewed of Friday the 13th involving the Jarvis and Voorhees family rivalries, oh yeah, you totally get to see, and you get a good insight into how she became what she became, especially with her given her demonic husband, which Elias Voorhees, he's enough to just reduce anyone to madness. And yet, yeah. So, very complex situation there. That aside, Jaime's a very different character from Pamela Voorhees.
Jaime wants family, and she wants a connection to the Strobe family.
Well, no, to...
Jaime wants to know where she comes from. So...
Oh, yeah. For a minute, I thought you had a Freudian slip regarding her and her adoptive family. But yeah. She definitely is hungering for a closer connection to her biological family. Well, she's hungering for a connection to any family, because she's a lost little 6-year-old. And that's the problem, is, like, in a way, she's got family, but she doesn't believe it. But
and the shape preys on that.
Yeah.
Because she wanted a connection to Michael.
Well, no, I don't think she did. I think she took pity on him at the end of the movie, but she's hungering for a connection to her mom. It's just the shape kind of, through that hole in her heart, makes his way into her. So I'm not going to say she's hungering for a connection to Michael. That's more the nonsense from Halloween 5 and 6 that you're referring to. And I would rather forget those terrible movies.
Fair point.
So
I retract that comment.
Yeah. Thank you. But, yeah, hers is a very, very tragic story. And next time we're going to discuss how Michael ends up playing Boogeyman to her, which is a pretty cool scene. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like and that subscribe button, as though you were, well, Michael taking down one of his victims.